Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on my program. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you are joining me from any part of the world, I thank you very much for your contributions on this channel. Please kindly subscribe if you have not subscribed, and also click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. In this channel, I bring information to your doorstep. I bring news from all channels, from every angle. Things that have to do about the world, things that have to do about Africa, more especially Nigeria. I bring it to your doorstep, some information that you ignore, some information that you cannot be able to come across. I look for them, I bring it to your doorstep for you to see. Every video you see on this channel is for educational purpose.
It's Alhaji Buba Galadima. Alhaji Galadima, welcome to the morning show.
Thank you, Dr. Ruben Abati, for having me this morning.
Well, thank you for joining us. Quickly, this talk about a likely merger between the NNPP and the Labour Party. How true is it? How far has the negotiations traveled, if indeed there are talks already along that line? And Senator Kwankanso says Peter Obi should be his running mate if he doesn't mind. Peter Obi supporters insist that that's insulting, that Peter Obi is a symbol. He has become a movement of his own, and I cannot be deputy to anybody. If you may just take us what the real details are.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ruben Abati. The first correction is that we are not the third force, we are the first force. It is NNPP versus all the other political parties put together. If there is a level playing ground, I believe that if the APC and the PDP come together, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso will defeat them hands down. If it is people that will be voting and their votes count. Secondly, I also want to say that we are not discussing a merger with the Labour Party. What we are discussing is an electoral alliance between the candidates of the New Nigerian People's Party and the candidate of the Labour Party. And I chaired the I chaired the negotiation for 13 good hours. And we have an understanding on almost all the issues raised, except one. That is to say, who should be the presidential candidate, the flag bearer, and who should deputize for him. 3, I also want to say that those who said it is insulting to ask my friend, Chief Peter Obi, to deputize for Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso are not politicians. If they are politicians, they wouldn't have even dreamt of that. Because they are just starting a movement 2 months ago. The Kwankwasia movement has been on the ground for 32 years. And the main objective of the Kwankwasia movement, apart from development, is to make sure that Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso becomes the president of Nigeria because he has a lot to offer, and no Nigerian living today has ever performed while in public office as Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has done. Now, it is on record that of all the candidates of the political parties, there is none of them that have got half the CV of Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. And I can count. First, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso was a deputy speaker of the Federal House of Representatives 30-something years ago. Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso was a governor of one of the most populous states and diverse state of Kano for 8 years. Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso was a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso was Nigeria's defense minister for 3.5 years. Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso was an ambassador plenipotentiary with accreditation as Class A ambassador when he settled the issue of the conflict in Darfur, Sudan. So not only that, let me also add that he is the only person among all the aspirants that have gone to formal school, from primary school, and obtained a PhD in water engineering. None of the aspirants have got this qualification. None of the aspirants is as exposed as Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. And I want to say and put on record that in performance, while in public office, there is none of the aspirants that is 1%, has done 1%, while in public office, as Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso had done in Kano. Therefore, this has placed him top on top of all the aspirants in Nigeria. I understand that Chief Peter Obi was the governor of Anambra State, and he did his best to place Anambra on the map. But if you look at it, definitely, of all the issues that we raised, we had 20 parameters to judge the two gentlemen. However, when we started, the issue from Peter Obi's side was that there is a sentiment in the Southeast that the president must come from the Southeast extraction. And we said, no, we belong to a party called New Nigeria. Those are primordial sentiments that has never assisted Nigeria to become one. We are not yet one nation. And our objective is to eliminate all those primordial sentiments of tribe, religion, where one comes from. And it is only us that have the capacity, if given the opportunity, to make that happen. We want to build a new Nigeria. Do we still fall back to primordial sentiments of where one comes from and Nigeria remains what it is? We need somebody with the capacity to run this country. And I can't see using any parameter that would place the candidate of the Labour Party above Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. But he has a lot to gain because he's only 60 years old. Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is 65. Today, the sentiment among those young men who are posting in the social media is that Atiku at 77 is too old, and that Bola Tinubu at 69 is too old. So if you now make Peter Obi as the president at 60, by the time he finishes 8 years, Kwankwaso would have been 74, 75. So the young man again will say he's too old to run for president. But if you allow Senator Kwankwaso to become the president and Chief Peter Obi becomes his vice president, it means at the time Senator Kwankwaso will be finishing, even if it is 8 years, Chief Peter Obi would have been 67, 68, therefore strong enough to run for the president of Nigeria. Additionally, I want people to know that the development strides that Kwankwaso had done in Kano is unprecedented, and the kind of economy that Peter Obi had managed as governor of Anambra is unprecedented. Therefore, the vice president's province is managing the economy of our country. Therefore, if you make Peter Obi manage the economy as vice president, and Kwankwaso manages the development of the country and bring this country together and unify it, it will be a seamless transition from Kwankwaso to Peter Obi. I believe that Nigerians should not use sentiments, and that patience is of essence in this matter. Tinubu has, for example, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was patient enough, bought his time, and at this age, he picked the ticket of the ruling party. I think people from the Southeast should manage this because it is easier and simpler for somebody from the Southeast extraction to become president easily by being supported by a sitting national government, which we intend to do. And all the parameters of this sentiment that people are using, does not hold water, because we have seen the Southeast voted during the PDP primaries. Of all the Southeast candidates in that election, in that primaries, how many did the man who had the highest votes, how many did he get? There were also candidates of the Southeast extraction during the APC primaries. How many votes did they get? So the issue of sentiments of Southeast wanting to be president does not hold water from these parameters I have already analyzed.
Right, thank you for that analysis, sir. We'll come back to Peter Obi, but I just want to ask you, you've made it extremely clear. We all know what the Kwakwasiya movement is. Not even just a movement, an ideology. We've all seen rallies with the seas of red caps. From everything you've said now, you're positing that it's not possible for Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso to play second fiddle to Peter Obi, and that he must sit atop the presidential ticket of the NNPP. So, is this about a Kwankwaso and Obi partnership, or a Kwankwaso and a Southeast partnership, such that if negotiations fall through with Peter Obi, you might consider another candidate from the Southeast?
Well, we are looking for the best Nigerian from from at least the southern part of the country for now, Southeast inclusive. And I want to say that if Kwankwaso deputizes for Peter Obi, it is not the ticket of Peter Obi that will gain currency. It is Atiku that will benefit. Because as far as we are concerned, if Kwankwaso steps down to be vice president, the people from this part of the country, if you are using the word sentiment, are likely to vote for one of their own who is running as president. But if Peter Obi is vice president to Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, he doesn't lose his followership, because that could have been the best position that people of Southeast extraction could have gotten in this 2003 elections. They are out of the PDP. They are out in the APC. So having a vice president from Southeast extraction with the promise and with the viability of becoming president after Kwankwaso would now make them self-satisfied. But we are looking at all variables, all kinds of people who will add value to this ticket. If we can get anybody of his stature from the Southeast extraction, so be it. We are looking at that, and we have a date with history. 15th is the final day of the closure of substitution. So we are looking forward. We are looking for people to come forward. Of course, I have already, as chairman of the screening committee, have already screened 11 people who are interested in becoming the vice presidential candidate of the NNPP, including women, including young and old. So our door is open. We would hope that Peter Obi uses his number 6 or number 3 to accept this offer, so that the election on the 25th of February 2023 will be a walkover for the progressives of this country.
Alhaji, a lot of people in the Southeast are saying it will be unfair if Peter Obi accepts to be running mate, because they want a Southeasterner on the ballot, because they want a Southeast president. That's their agitation. What do you say to that? That's the first question. The second question is... The second question, Alhaji. Alhaji, wait a minute. Alhaji, wait a minute. I've not finished my question. Hold on. Let me finish my question, please. Let me finish. I'm the host here. Let me finish my question, Alhaji. I'm asking a question. Let me finish it. The second question is, a lot of people argue that Kwankwaso is a one-state candidate. And I prove it to you. The only inroad he makes is in Kano politics, no more, no less. Even, I'll quote history for you.
So let me finish my point. How many state candidates?
Can I finish my point, and you can answer afterwards? In 1979 election, you know, the political leader of the Kwankwasia movement, way back, I'm going back to the days of Aminu Kano. In the presidential election in 79, only won one state, and that's Kano State. And it's an offshoot of that Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso opposed. And a lot of people are saying it can only win Kano State. So what is it that really that the NNPP is bringing to the table when we know it's just a one-state candidate? Those are my two questions, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Since you've gone back to 1979, let me also tell you why my friends in the Southeast don't get their politics right. In 1978, Alhaji Shehu Shagari led a delegation of northern elders to visit Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and invited him to join the national movement and to lead them to become their presidential candidate. The young Turks in the Southeast then said, don't trust these Hausa people. And Zik now went and pitched his tent with NNPP. And eventually it got broken into two, NNPP and GNPP under Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and Alhaji Waziri Ibrahim. How many states did Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe won? He lost one golden opportunity for the Southeast to become president. After Obasanjo was leaving office, Obasanjo called the leaders of the Southeast and told them that he is going to nominate somebody from the North to become president. Therefore, they should produce a vice presidential candidate. All of them answered, Mba, 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 no, 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 only president or never. Obasanjo had a soft heart for the Igbos. He went and picked Peter Obi to be vice presidential candidate to Yar'Adua. The same Southeast petitioned against Peter Odili, Dr. Peter Odili, and told the EFCC where his money for buying delegates were placed. And the EFCC raided those locations and wrote to disqualify Peter Odili. So Jonathan was picked as vice presidential candidate. You see destiny. The Igbos, had they agreed, or the Southeast, had they agreed to allow an Igbo man to be vice presidential candidate, it could have been history that a Southeasterner could have become the president of Nigeria after Yar'Adua's death. And when Jonathan became president, during the completion of Yar'Adua's first term, Adamu Chiroma, Umar Shinkafi, and others called the leaders of the Southeast at Yar'Adua Center here. I want young men to know this history, and told them that, look, after the completion of Yar'Adua's first term, Jonathan should step down, and the North will nominate another candidate to complete Yar'Adua's 4 years, such that after Jonathan can also run with the person as revert to as vice president, so that they will now cede power to the Southeast. They said never, 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 never. And some elements of them went to Enugu and said it is Jonathan or never. It is Jonathan or never, that if Jonathan completes his term, he's going to cede power to the Southeast. I don't think it makes a logical political reasoning. So they held that meeting in Enugu and announced to the world what they wanted. Now they supported Jonathan. The Northerners pulled the carpet under their feet by telling Jonathan, calling Jonathan with the witnesses, including Obasanjo, to tell him that he's going to be given another term in office so that they don't fight Jonathan as president. And now they sidelined them. Jonathan became president to make 6.5 years as president. It was when Jonathan wanted to compete again that the Northerners ganged against him and threw him out. This history, young men and women and people of the media should now understand. Now, ordinarily, the generals, including Obasanjo, Babangida, and others that supported Buhari, ordinarily, they couldn't have done that. But it's because Jonathan insisted, after having been in office for 6 years plus, that they all ganged up and supported Buhari to win that election. So the issue is that the Southeast people are the enemies of themselves. They are the people who jettisoned the zoning in the first place. They are the people that, because their sentiment of, there is actual, let me say, Dr. Ruben Abati, there is no morality on self-interest. When people have self-interest, they don't care about morality. So they can't eat their cake and have it. And the only and the easiest way of becoming president is to team up with the NNPP, because Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is known to be a man of his words. Ask anybody, and he's known to have supported those who support him. Look at his deputy. He was about the only person, governor, that anointed his deputy to take over from him. Now, the issue of Kwankwaso is the candidate of the south of Kano alone. But Ruben Abati, you yourself have told us that we went to Gombe and like the heavens were falling in Gombe, that we spent 4.5 hours to travel 20 kilometers. Are those ghosts or human beings? Are they going to vote or not vote? Were you not in Lagos when Kwankwaso visited Alabarago? Over 1 million people gathered there. Can any presidential candidate, including Bola Tinubu, gather that kind of crowd in Lagos? Have we not been in Calabar? Have we not been in Benin? Have you seen the kind of people that go there? Now, let any of you tell me his state, and we will visit there. Let him go and see whether Kwankwaso has got a support all over this country or not. Let me say that for today, I don't know tomorrow, Kwankwaso is the candidate to beat in this election, because he's got all the qualification, he's got all the antecedents, he's capable, he has the capacity to run this country. We have the capacity to build a new Nigeria, not based on tribe, not based on religion, not based on where one comes from. That an Abati, that a Buba Galadima Bade from the northern end of Northeast can be the president of this country. It is better for all of us to build a nation than to build nations within a state.
Okay, Alhaji Galadima, with due respect, first, you said twice that President Jonathan spent 6.5 years as president. No, I think he spent just about 5 years. He was sworn in as acting president February 9, 2010. And then he won election as president in 2011 and spent 4 years. He didn't spend up to 6.5 years, because I keep hearing people making that claim. Now to the issues.
So, it's okay. Thank you. I concede. Some people are looking for to be Nigeria's president even for 1 day.
Okay.
He had the privilege to lead a country like Nigeria for 5 years. That is good.
Okay, sir. Now to my question. This idea of new Nigeria. At what point did Senator Kwankwaso become a convert to the idea of a new Nigeria? Because you recall, sir, that in 2014-2015, he left the PDP to go to the APC because he was one of those governors at the time who said President Jonathan could not have a second term in office because it was the turn of Northerners. This time around, he's saying that NNPP...